morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told how to voice the radio. So today, it's time we finally talk about Galarian Mr. Rime. And I'm still not happy about the fact that the Pokemon is called Mr. Rime, but in the card they put Galarian in the name, even though Galarian is not in the name of the Pokemon. Never mind. We've not had a Mr. Rime card yet, so it's nice. We finally get the chance to fix it. Now, our translation here does come from the lovely David Hockman over at limitlesstcg.com/translations. And if we start off having a little bit of a look at the basics, 110 HP for a stage 1 is... it's not great, if I'm honest with you. You know, Zapdos is not exactly the biggest basic, and that's got 110 HP. We do like the single retreat cost because of a U-turn board and a skateboard, so that's quite nice. And I do kind of like the weakness to metal. Now, only joking, it's kind of terrible. Although it's kind of not. Here's the thing. Zacian V. Zacian V is the best Pokemon in the game when Sword and Shield drops. But it also hits for 230. It more than double KOs you, weakness or not. It doesn't matter if Zacian's doing 230 or 460 with weakness, you ain't lasting. And that's kind of the big metal attacker around at the moment. People play Duskmane Necrozma, but that's just there to hit some bench damage against GXs. I suppose Rusty Claws will go from 100 to 200 and get a KO. It's a weird kind of weakness because you're getting one-hit KO'd anyway. Does it really matter? But you're a water Pokemon. Water Pokemon means we can accelerate energy with Frostmoth. That's a good thing. And it means we're hitting weakness against stuff like Reshiram and Charizard and all those other welded X. That's a good thing. And it means we can use Crash Awake, although no one seems to play Crash Awake. I keep mentioning it in the vain hope that somebody will, but as of the moment, no one's playing it. But people might play Mr. Rime, because this ability is really good. Prevent all effective attacks done to your Pokemon that have any energy attached to them. Remove any existing effects. So your opponent can still damage you and do damage and all of that, but it means that effects of attacks, i.e. anything that isn't damage, yeah, we're good now. Mr. Rime's got your back. You got to have energy on, but as long as you've got energy on, Mr. Rime's got your back. And here's the thing. This can really help you out in a bunch of situations, but if we look at the big Pokemon at the moment, it's kind of irrelevant. Zacian V just does a bunch of damage. Pikachu and Zekrom does a bunch of damage and accelerates energy, but it prevents effects done to your Pokemon. Pikachu and Zekrom is an effective attack done to your opponent's Pokemon, so yeah, that's kind of irrelevant. Reshiram and Charizard just does a bunch of damage. Morpeko V switches to the bench, but again, that's an effect on the Pokemon doing the attacking, the Morpeko. So if we look at a big Pokemon, this isn't particularly a huge deal. But it could be. I mean, take something like Rampardos. Rampardos is, now that we're stage 2s are actually getting potentially good, and we've got Inteleon decks that can go a little bit nuts and play multiple stage 2s, we run the risk of people playing Rampardos. And playing Rampardos in a multiple stage 2 deck along with Super Boost Energy and going a little bit silly. And Rampardos has an attack which gets an automatic KO on any basic Pokemon. That's a bit of a problem. The great news is, though, that is an effect of an attack. It's not damage, it is the effect of the attack. So as long as you've got energy on that Pokemon and a Mr. Rime on your bench, yeah, you're good. You're fine. Mr. Rime's got your back. And that could be kind of helpful. How about Torkoal V? Now, Torkoal V is one of the bigger ones here. Torkoal V is one of the really regularly played Pokemon in the Sun and Moon meta that really does have an effect of an attack which it uses quite a lot. And that is that for 4 energy, it does 120 and discards 2 energy attached to the defending Pokemon. Unless, of course, your opponent has a Mr. Rime, in which case no energy will be discarded. Technically, if you don't have any energy on the Pokemon, then Torkoal can discard the energy, because Mr. Rime's ability only works for Pokemon with energy on. But then again, if you've got no energy on, why are you worried about Torkoal discarding the energy? The answer is you're not. You're good. Chill. And Mr. Rime is one of these Pokemon that is going to be incredibly dependent on the meta at that time. If you've got a bunch of Pokemon that are doing attacks that have other effects, yes. Anytime your opponent tries to pop a special condition on you, nope, that ain't working. No paralysis, no burn. Now, if they're trying to use an ability, think something like the Vileplume that sees no play whatsoever, but good, fine. But if they're trying to use an attack to put a special condition on you, no. Anytime they're trying to discard energy using stuff like Torkoal V, that's going to fail entirely. Anytime they're trying to get an automatic one-hit KO with something like Rampardos, no. Anytime they're just trying to take you off the field, so let's say, and I know it's rotated out, but I want to talk about Beware GX because I love Beware. Let's say Beware tries using Big Throw GX, discard your opponent's active Pokemon and all cards attached to it. No! That doesn't work. And actually, Beware's a great example here because it's one of the many, many Pokemon we've got in the format that says the defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. Well, that doesn't matter because you can, because this will be taken away. And if you have an attack which stops you retreating and Mr. Rime isn't out, but then you get Mr. Rime out, it takes it away and then you can retreat. But there's also a bunch of Pokemon out there that stop you attacking. Think Piplup. Now, to be clear, Piplup's never really going to see play. You can get the energy on with Frostmoth, I suppose, but we're not really going to. What we're going to do is use Empoleon to copy Piplup's attack for a single colorless energy. Cool! And it does 80 damage, and if the defending Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, it cannot attack during your opponent's next turn. Unless Mr. Rime comes out. And as soon as Mr. Rime comes out, you're like, oh no, wait, no, it's okay. You definitely, totally can. I don't think there's really a huge amount of Pokemon around at the moment that are really desperate for Mr. Rime. Because a lot of these effects we're talking about, guaranteed one-hit KOs, discarding energy, special conditions, the big Pokemon, the top Pokemon in the game at the moment aren't using them. But this is a stage 1 Pokemon. So if you're playing Ditto Prism Star in your deck, and a lot of evolving decks, most of them in fact are, brilliant. Just whack one Mr. Rime in your deck. Or if you know that you're going to be playing against one of these decks that relies on energy denial, special conditions, etc., whack one of these Pokemon into your deck. And then it can work. It can be a great counter to things you know are coming up, or it can be a great wild card to really block against a whole bunch of different things which could come up. There's a lot this can help you with. Now, there is an attack here as well, but we're not going to spend much time talking about it because I don't think it's particularly the reason to play it. What you do is, for 1 water, 1 colorless energy, you flip 3 coins and do 50 damage for each heads. Now, I will say that against non-GXs, treble heads, 150 damage, yes, but that's also a 1 in 8 or 12.5% chance, don't get too excited. 2 heads, 100 damage, I mean, what are you even getting for 100 damage nowadays? You're not even getting an opposing Mr. Rime. Jirachi, there we go, Jirachi goes down. It's flippy and awkward. And look, if you flip treble heads, you can get a one-hit KO on a Reshiram and Charizard for free prizes. But you've literally got to flip triple heads. And you've got to get 2 energy on there. And look, you can accelerate energy with Frostmoth, but if you accelerate energy with Frostmoth, I mean, literally, Piplup is a better option here. So, okay, we're not getting terribly excited about the attack. We're probably not going to use the attack. That's okay. This is a Pokemon that's here for the ability. And the ability's really good. I'm kind of a fan of the ability here. I don't know if we're necessarily in the right metagame for it now, but let's say for argument's sake you're going off to a tournament with, I don't know, Mewtwo and Mew, just any tag team GX deck. And you're hearing rumours that people are going to start playing more Rampardos, and you really don't want to have to deal with Rampardos. 1 Mr. Rime and you're fine. If Torkoal V is seeing an uptick in play, which it may well, it was about 3% of a really big, like 1,500 person tournament in Japan lately, and you know you cannot deal with that energy discard, play 1 Mr. Rime. It's a kind of Pokemon that may never be great, or it may be an absolute staple that wins you game after game after game. And I don't know what I do then in terms of scoring this. I think 4 Wassies? The fact of the matter is, this could end up being a 5 Wassie card, or it could end up being a between 2 and 3 Wassie card. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. I'm giving it 4 Wassies because I really can't see a lot of uses for this. The real question with a card like this, are any of the Pokemon we're talking about prevalent enough to make people worried enough to play Mr. Rime? And I don't know if the answer to that is yes. But I would like to know what your answer to that is, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do consider checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but we love them nonetheless. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.